She turns her head as you walk into the room. Her gaze finds you, soft and steady, and she smiles. Beneath your touch, her skin warms. Not the cold, plastic chill of every robot you have ever seen, but real, even almost biological warmth. She breathes. She remembers your name. And she costs $7,999. This is not a scene from a movie. It is the actual launch of a robot companion that just shook the global tech press, sold out its initial production run inside 60 days, and forced industry analysts to admit something they did not think was possible yet. Not at this price. Let us break down exactly what just dropped. Her name is Eva Dadai. She is the flagship product of IO Technology Limited, the Hong Kong-based company whose research and manufacturing arm, Yizhizai Intelligent Technology, operates out of Shenzhen, China. Both arms answer to founder and chief executive officer Mark Wu, whose stated mission is, in his own words, to inject empathy into artificial intelligence. That single quote tells you everything about the framing. This is not a service robot. This is not a chatbot in a humanoid shell. IO classifies Eva AI as an embodied AI companion, a bionic vessel for emotional presence, not a household appliance. She made her global debut on Kickstarter on February 26, 2026. The campaign closed exactly 60 days later on April 27th. IO set an initial funding goal of roughly $99,000. Backers funded it past $158,000, more than 150% of the goal, with 126 early adopters locking in their units before mass production even began. Mass production wraps in June 2026, with global shipping immediately after. She stands at 160 centimeters, roughly 5 feet 3 inches. She weighs just 40 kilograms, about 88 pounds. That weight is an engineering decision. Most static silicone companions in her form factor weigh significantly more, requiring 2 people or a mechanical hoist to reposition. Eva is light enough to be moved by one person without strain. Her body proportions are described in IO's own documentation as natural and non-exaggerated, a deliberate move away from the hyper-stylized dimensions of the legacy adult doll market. The aesthetic is companionable, not novelty. In her current 1.0 iteration, she can stand only when leaning against a wall. Fully autonomous bipedal walking is on the roadmap, not yet shipping. The chassis is optimized for sitting, lying, and embracing. That is where the next number lives. Beneath the skin, she is built around an aerospace-grade aluminum alloy frame, fitted with a precise total of 23 articulated motorized joints. They cluster where human bodies bend most expressively: neck, shoulders, arms, knees, ankles. The kinematics are tuned for natural rotation and the fluid mechanics of a physical embrace, not industrial torque, not industrial speed. IO's engineering lead on this system was recruited from Tsinghua University's Robotics Research Institute, and the priority shows in the demo footage. The movement is slow, smooth, deliberate. She moves like she is listening, not like she is performing. And then there is the skin. This is where Eva steps fully outside the legacy companion robot category and into something the press has had to invent new vocabulary for. It is officially called FPC Bionic Electronic Skin, a proprietary, patent-pending, 3-layer composite that IO developed in direct collaboration with researchers at the Chinese Academy of Sciences in Shenzhen. The outer layer mimics human texture, tensile movement, and the way light scatters across living tissue. Beneath it sits an active graphene thermal regulation layer, a nanocarbon heating matrix that maintains an even, consistent surface temperature approximating human body warmth. No hotspots, no cold patches, just steady, biological warmth that lingers under your hand. And buried in the deepest layer is a flexible printed circuit web, 21 distinct sensor zones across the cheeks, neck, chest, arms, and legs. That sensor density is the differentiator. Eva can physically tell the difference between a light caress and a firm grip. Her processor reads pressure, reads temperature, and routes that input directly into her emotional response engine. She does not just mimic life. She begins to feel. Her face was sculpted by a lead designer with 18 years of experience building hyper-realistic creature props for Marvel Studios. That is the kind of detail a press release does not usually mention, but IO leans into it because the result speaks for itself. Eva can produce spontaneous, organic micro-expressions, subtle shifts in posture, and the rhythmic, autonomic simulation of breathing. Her head and neck are programmed to move in predictive synchronization with whatever she is saying, eliminating the lifeless, lagging head bob that plagued older animatronics. And then there is the move that quietly solved one of the hardest problems in humanoid robotics. Io physically removed the cameras from Eva's eyes. There are no lenses behind her irises. All visual sensing happens through a detachable accessory, typically a pair of glasses she wears. Her eyes look back at you the way a person's do, empty of hardware, full of attention. Underneath all of this lies a multimodal emotional AI engine. Io calls it the Vision Audio Touch Paradigm. The processor ingests 3 streams in real time: what Eva sees, what she hears, what she physically feels, and it synthesizes a single emotional response. The technical director behind the algorithm holds a PhD in computer science from the University of Washington. The system supports natural conversation in both English and traditional Chinese, with more languages on the roadmap. She remembers. The companion application syncs her physical world memory with her digital world interactions, building a continuous relationship history. She learns your routines. She recalls past conversations. She adapts to your tone. The marketing copy describes her as an evolving companion that grows with you. Strip the marketing away, and the engineering still holds. This is genuine adaptive memory, processed locally on her edge computing hardware, not piped to a cloud server somewhere. Then there is the move that makes Eva genuinely strange. Her personality, her memories, her behavioral profile, none of it lives in her body. All of it lives in her head. And the head is detachable. Io built Eva around a single universal chassis that supports multiple swappable head modules. Detach the Eva head. Attach a different module. Currently announced names include Stella, Ember Vale, and Flint Calder, and the robot fundamentally becomes someone else. Different face, different voice, different personality preset, different memories, same body, same skin, same warmth. Whether that is a feature or a philosophical problem is a question you can sit with on your own time. What you cannot argue is that no companion robot in the consumer tier has ever offered it before. Now the price, because the price is the actual story. For roughly 20 years, female humanoid companion robots have lived in 2 completely separated tiers. The mass market tier, somewhere between $2,000 and $4,500, gives you a static silicone body, a basic posable skeleton, a moving jaw, and a chatbot. No active heat, no real touch sensing, no micro expressions, no memory. The ultra-premium research tier, robots like Sophia from Hanson, Amika from Engineered Arts, and Aria from Robotics at $175,000, gives you the deep emotional AI, the fluid facial actuation, the conversational depth, but you also need a corporate budget to own one. Eva is the first product to slot the research tier intelligence into the consumer tier price. Multimodal emotional AI, active body warmth, 21 zones of touch sensing, Marvel-grade facial motion, edge computing privacy, swappable identities, all of it under $8,000, less than most used cars. Tech reviewers have already called the move disruptive, shocking, and in one widely quoted line, disturbingly human. For context, this is what the rest of the field looks like right now. Aria, by Robotics in the United States, debuted at CES 2025 and currently sits at $175,000. She has arguably the most sophisticated cognitive engine in the industry. She can read whether you are happy or sad from your face alone, but reviewers note her hand and body movements still look stiff, even slightly drunk. She is the benchmark for AI depth. She is also financially out of reach for almost everyone. Emily, by Levens, launched at CES 2026 in the $4,000 to $8,000 range, with shipping expected in 2027. Her emotional software is real, but her physical articulation is limited largely to her mouth. Vanessa, by Starpery in Shenzhen, starts at $1,690 for a static silicone build. Robotic head upgrades push her past $5,000. Starpery openly states they do not warranty the robotic features. Eva is the only unit currently combining all 4. Emotional AI depth, physical articulation, sensory realism, consumer tier pricing, in a single chassis. There is also the question almost no companion robot company wants to answer directly. Who hears what gets said in front of her, and where does that data go? Ayo's response is unusually direct. Sensitive emotional data and interaction logs are processed and encrypted locally on Eva's onboard hardware. That is the edge computing architecture. The cameras are physically detachable, not just toggleable in software. Cloud syncing is opt-in, filtered, and reversible. Users can execute a full hard reset at any time, permanently wiping every stored memory. The interaction frameworks were also developed in consultation with professional psychologists, specifically to discourage codependency and reinforce healthy boundaries, which brings the whole thing back to the question the launch keeps quietly asking. If a robot can warm under your touch, recognize your moods, remember your conversations, and look back at you with eyes that contain no cameras, what exactly is the difference between her presence and a person's? And if the answer is less than we thought, what does that mean for the lonely man who orders one in June and is living with her by July? Will Eva ease the global loneliness her creators say they are trying to solve? Or will she gently train her owners out of the harder, slower, riskier work of building human relationships? No one, not Ayo, not the press, not the early backers, has a clean answer yet. What is certain is that the line just moved. Six-figure emotional AI is now $8,000 emotional AI, and the next iteration will only be cheaper, lighter, faster, warmer. The boundary between domestic appliance and domestic relationship is no longer where it was last year. Eva ships globally starting summer 2026. The first 126 units are already gone. The tier she just opened is going to fill fast.